I was going to say on this just before we get into the actual class. Sorry about the delay, guys. Sorry. I mean, again, that's just. I'll get a little closer here. Can you see me okay, Jane?
Yes.
Okay, great. So if in case you didn't see it last time, the way I kind of learned how to do this was like if we're going to step out here, like I'm going to go this way and put my weight, and then I'm going to step out there, and so my foot's ready, and then I'll start the shift to the other side, right? And that's sort of like how I learned how to do it as a beginner in a different sort of lineage, not in the dong style. Um, and then when we do something like going right along with that, like we do like our brush knee, we would do something like this and come forward, and then at the end of that to do the next one, we would shift back, toe out, shift forward, step, boom. And that's those are like more health-oriented modifications that make it easier for people with that are weaker and have less balance are able to do it, right? And maybe even beginners in some sense. But at the same time, while they make it easier for people to repeat or copy the outer form of the sequence, they're actually like skipping the gong fu that you can get out of this, right? And that's kind of what I was trying to get at with this whole thing is by not rushing forward into this whole choreography and like you're sitting there and like, okay, I've got to remember this whole choreography all the way time. By condensing it down to just these smaller pieces and focusing on the small pieces, we can work on the actual, the gong fu, the actual strength, the core strength that has to be there for the other things to be done correctly. And that's like kind of the whole process I'm getting. And what I'm getting at with that is that, this way, okay, boom, step out like that, okay. Dong style is more like, we step out, and then as we step forward, we're halfway there already. Sorry, this is the wrong way. But like we're actually halfway through the turn as we step out before the foot goes down, right? And so the difference in that is if I'm here, right, that's empty. I'm still like right here. I'm like, I'm empty and like I'm like a big board just waiting to be knocked over, essentially, because I'm here and there, and it's just disconnected. It's not joined up. Whereas we do it the dong style way, and we're kind of halfway in there. We're crouched and ready going in this direction right here. And you'll see pictures of dong yin jie like that, And so it's a different sort of thing. We can actually do a full turn because we're using our waist and our qua, differently than folks that don't get that gong fu in there, right? So anyhow, let's go ahead and get started. Y'all ready?
You want to talk right down to earth in a language that everybody here can easily understand.
The chance of your being hurt by an atomic bomb is slight. You must know how to protect yourself.
All right. Let's go ahead and get going. Not too much jabber today. So we're going to go ahead and make our circles going clockwise with the knee and ankle. The Achilles tendon, getting everything nice and stretched out and loosened up. Relaxing down into the weighted left leg. And again, just trying to get that muscle all open. As I was just demonstrating the importance of this muscle group, right? Everything kind of comes out of this joint. Don't build it up too bad. Put down your heel. Pick up the other heel. Make counterclockwise circles with the heel. Stretching out the ankle joint, mobilizing the qua, and just letting the knee sort of come along for the ride. I'm developing my sort of foundation baseline metrics that I'd like to try and get as many people as possible to take. And this is just going to measure across 5 different matrices. Come back to the center. Hands on the tailbone. But it'll measure across 5 different matrices, and we're going to make small circles going clockwise. Your development and progress in Tai Chi Chuan. Not as a measure of how many sequences you know, but as a measure of what Gong Fu has actually been inculcated in your body. Reverse direction. Again, we're just trying to loosen up the hips. All right, come back to center, hands on the hips, keep the lower body stationary, feet shoulder width. What are you looking at? Don't you mug at me. All right, so pick a side, just go right-hand side, lean down slightly, and then over, up, turn, down, over, up, turn. Keep the waist stationary, or the hip stationary, and turn the waist. And keep the spine straight. All right, come back the other direction. Now you may, with these exercise routines here, want to just do it at your own pace, your own number of reps and whatnot. What I find is best is just if you can figure out what your set number is, come back to center, and just make sure you do it consistently throughout a time. Shoulders back, circles back, let the arms hang. What I mean is, do it like a Vinyasa, a flow. You don't want to start and then stop. You don't want to get into a position and start working on this loosening and the postures, and then go in the other direction, and then go back to it. Hey, hush, go to bed. And then go to a normal standing posture or sitting posture or something of that nature. So it's like I don't know if you ever smoked meat, but it's like you're getting up a good temperature to smoke the meat. Go ahead and stop. And then you're opening the door and just letting it sit for a while. And then you close back again. And so you're never going to actually finish the brisket that way. All right, left ear to left shoulder. Right palm down, right fingers up. Find the curve in the neck and the stretch in the arm. Left hand to the right shoulder. We want to try and find that last bit of mobility by pushing down gently, pulling down gently, I suppose, with the left. Breathe in, intensify the stretch. Breathe out, relax, but stay where you are. Breathe in, intensify the stretch. Breathe out, relax where you are. One more. Breathe in, intensify the stretch. Breathe out, relax where you are. All right, come back to center. Left hand down. Right ear to right shoulder. I've got some kind of cramp here. Left palm down, left fingers up. Right palm to left shoulder. Pull down slightly. That's good. Find the curve in the neck. Breathe in, intensify the stretch down to the fingertips. Breathe out, relax. Breathe in, intensify the stretch. Breathe out, relax. Breathe in, intensify the stretch. Breathe out and relax. All right. The left hand come to the back. Lean over slightly. Let the right hand go across the top. Keep the bottom half stationary and stable. Bend at the waist to stretch the side. Use the hand in the back to station stabilize yourself. Alright, lean forward slowly, smoothly. Switch hands. Sorry about blowing you out with hushing the dogs there. These guys are dumb. I guess I'm the dumb one for not locking them up. I don't know. Alright, come back to center. Hands on lower back. Lean back. Knees forward, back straight. Use your hands to keep your back straight. Chin tucked. And just relax and sort of lengthen the spine. Use the knees to come up. Toe in with the left, out with the right. Right toe up. Hands to brace yourself going down. All the way or as far as you can without discomfort. If you start to get lightheaded, go ahead and stop. But we want to get 3 good stretching breaths here. So breathe in, intensify our stretch in the legs, relax the lower back and abdomen. Breathe out, relax everything. Breathe in, intensify the stretch. Breathe out, relax. One more time, breathe in and out. All right, come up slowly, hands on the knees. Make sure the blood's in your head. Toe in, toe out with the left, toe up. Hands on the legs. Let yourself down slowly with stability. And again, breathe in, stretch the leg. Breathe out, relax. Breathe in, stretch. Breathe out, relax. Breathe in, and relax. Come back up to center, toe in. Step out slightly so that your feet are shoulder width and a half. And slowly fold, hang down. Allow the vertebra to loosen up and expand naturally. Don't force it. Find where you may be holding tension in your back and release it. Pick up your hands and put them on the side of your head. Don't pull, but just allow that extra weight to provide a slight load. Dude, will you not bump into me? Something living with dogs will improve your kung fu. All right, come up to about halfway. Go down so that your fingers are touching. And what we want to do is bend at the waist, the yow, slightly to move our hands up and down as if we're painting the floor. We want to see the marks in our nail polish here. All right, come back to center and twist at the yow. Get out of here. Twist at the yow to pull grass. Relax. Paint the floor. Come to stillness. Shh. Go to bed. Drop the bottom. Rest into that squat position if you're able. If not, just hang out for a second where you're comfortable. All right, press with the feet to come up. Be kind to the knees. Feet back to shoulder width, and we want to twist at the waist. Let the hands follow. Let the eye scan the room, finding something at the very end of the turn to look at. Being mindful of how this turn is putting pressure into our legs and knees. We don't want to twist our knees. Our knees always just bend and go down. All right, come back to center, rub the kidneys. Shh, hey. This is like the keep away, huh? They play little games with toys, just like we do. All right, so let's do a brief warm up. Hey Google, what time is it? Lame, whatever. Okay. You know, let's just go straight to the fundamental Qigong. I want to start working on that. We're going to do one rep of each. All right? So stand like a mountain. Breathe out. Relax all the way down to your feet. Feel the weight at the bubbling well point returning back through your frame. Head pulled up as if suspended by a golden thread. Hips pulling down as if sitting on a bar stool. Relax the back. So we're going to take one good breath. Breathe in. We're going to say bubbling well. Ankles, knees, hips, spine, top of the head, shoulders, elbows, hands. Breathe out. Relax all the way down the top of our head, neck, shoulders, arms, belly, hips on the bar stool, knees, calves, feet. Now imagine our hands are being pulled down by a heavy, heavy weight, and we have to use our entire body to compensate for that weight. Now we're being pulled forward by our hands, coming up in a direct arc, straight out. Again, against the heavy weight. Our hips should tuck under. Shoulders turn, hands follow, palms face down. And then from the ground up, feet, ankles, knees, thighs, hips, spine to the top of the head, shoulders, elbows, hands, press out. With the hands pressed out, the tension held and kept. Left hand goes up. Right hand goes down, straight up. Just turn it in the socket. Everything else in the arm should stay the same. Just turn the socket. Hips level. Shoulders level. Arms just past the body, going back. And begin. Bubbling well. Ankles, knees, thighs, hips, up the spine, top of the head, shoulders, elbows, palms. Come back to center. Again, just turning at the shoulder. Press from the foot, ankle, knees, thighs, hips, up the spine, top of the head, shoulders, elbows, palms. Right hand goes up. Again, until the arms are past the plane of the body. And we press foot, ankle, knee, thighs, hips, up the spine to the top of the head, shoulders, elbows, hands. Come back down to center. Feet, ankles, knees, hips, spine, top of the head, shoulders, elbows, hands. Now we want to keep our right hand still. We want to spread our left hand open to the side. As we're stretching rubber band between them. Keep our hips forward, turn the waist, and our fingers should be at about a single whip distance. And we press feet, ankles, knees, hips, spine, top of the head, shoulders, elbows, hands. Bring everything back to the center. And again, feet, ankles, knees, hips, spine, top of the head, shoulders, elbows, hands. Keeping the left hand still, stretch a rubber band with the right wrist, turning at the waist, turning, stretching, 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 stretching until you're about to lose sight of both of them. Keeping the hips forward, turning at the waist. Press feet, ankles, knees, hips, spine, top of the head, shoulders, elbows, hands. Come back to center. Last time here, feet, ankles, knees, hips, up the spine, top of the head, shoulders, elbows, hands. Now fold at the elbow. Press out with the elbows. And turn at the shoulders so the elbows go up. Press feet, ankles, hips, spine, top of the head, shoulders, elbows, hands. Ooh. Down. Nice stretch and unfold out to the sides. Feet, ankles, knees, hips, spine, top of the head, shoulders, elbows, hands. Come back to center. And we're going to close after this. Press with the feet, ankles, knees, hips, up the spine, top of the head, shoulders, elbows, hands. And drop the hands, keeping the tension, keeping everything set and ready. Palms down at the sides and relax. My spine cracked when I relaxed just then. Okay, so that's the first three movements of the fundamental Qigong. And so I think what we'll do is, we'll do those first three this one at a time. Next week we'll do 2 each of those, and then we'll do 3 each of those, and then we'll start doing the next 3 movements, same way, all right? So we'll have to do 3 each of those movements, and then build on the second. All right. Any questions before we move on? Y'all still with me? I can't even see the Zoom. Yeah, doesn't matter. All right. Let's go ahead and just do the first couple movements as a Qigong real quick. So again, we settle down, breathe out, Relax all the way down to the bubbling well point at the bottom of our feet. Feel our hips settling, knees bending slightly, creating an arch. Enough room under the armpits to hold a steam bun. Hands hanging. Again, breathe all the way down to the feet. And then we want to feel the feet, ankles, knees, hips, up the spine to the top of the head. And as it hits the top of the head, we want to feel it motivate under the armpit. Out to the elbow. Extend out to the wrist. And then to the fingertips. As we breathe out, we're going to turn our shoulders and soften our hips, our quad. Settle down into the bar stool. We turn at the hips, maintaining the curve of our arms. As our elbows move back and our knees soften slightly. At the very bottom, when our hands are level, we press with our hands and our feet. From here, expand outwards. So we're trying to make room, pushing against the sides. And then we sink, bend the knees, and squat to our form height. Our form height is where our back is straight and our knees are bent, as comfortable as we can get, as low as we can get, but not more low than is comfortable. We open from the inside, soften the left quad, raise the right toe, so the right toe points to 80 degrees off the center, and we hold the ball over the right foot. We shift onto the right foot, picking up the heel, navel at the corner. We step out to a shoulder width stance. Put the toe down, shift. Settle into the space between our knees, which causes our hands to raise. Pause a second, half second, millisecond, a beat. Keep everything ready. We're going to overturn the hands, turn at the waist slightly, turn back as we turn the waist. We press against our back foot as if we're tearing paper. We keep a nice good pung in our both hands. We continue the circle of the backhand as the left waits. Here we soften the quad and fold it to bring the hand around. And press forward, sinking into the space between the knees and rising up. Push back into the back leg, separate to split, peeling off incoming force, and then sinking down into a controlling on. Should feel a good, nice big load in our right leg that we then push into our left leg, sink into the space between our knees as our hands raise up. Shift into the right leg, press into the right leg, form a arc with our right arm, striking out with the elbow side of the hand, toe in with the left foot to 80 degrees. Bring the right hand into a hold the ball position on the left. Shift the weight to the left so that the right foot is empty. Can be picked up. The navel and nose is pointing to the corner. Step out into our shoulder width stance as we shift into our ward off right. Sink between the knees and lift. Overturn. Turn back. Shift to the rear as we turn the waist. Hands face each other. Soften the quad to turn the waist and bring the left hand to meet the right. Shift forward into the space between the knees as we lift with press. Shift into the back leg. Split. Feel that incoming force back. Press down with the control engine of on. Shift forward. Put the hips in between the knees and sink to raise the hands. Okay. We're going to go ahead and stop right there. I said this class was for those two pieces. Or that piece, the grasp sparrow's tail. There we go. Dogs, what are y'all doing, man? They're just going crazy. So, are there any questions over that piece? Over any of that?
The detail is so helpful.
Okay, good. Thank you. So what we're, detail-wise, what we're looking for there, gosh, what are some of the things that we want to look at? The elbows are important, right? This is something Alex was talking about in his last Saturday class. And it's something that I noticed in my push hands practice Sunday. And that was the, like our push. Okay, so if we're like, let's say like this, you know, you see how like my elbows are kind of like right over my knees in this narrow sort of like guarded position. It's very easy to sort of compromise and get my upper body that way by putting pressure into that, right? Even if they're out to the side like this, same sort of thing. It's just like a little handle, basically. And I don't know if you can see, but it's basically like right here. You know, it's kind of like it looks like that L. You know, from here it's kind of straight. From here it's kind of the L there too, right? And so what we want to be looking at is instead of being direct on like this, we want to be like kind of out, right? And so what that does is if they try to push on that, just by virtue of the fact that it's like this versus like this, instead of it pushing up against that joint, as it's coming out there, they're pushing across. They're telling you what you need to do to defeat that energy, right? Here, lift. Here, okay, I'll just knock you off. All right, makes sense, right? And you'll see that, like it's basically when I'm pushing with people, sometimes I have to just not push that because it's just right there, you know. But the whole thing is that speaks to what we're trying to do is that we're not trying to have these isolated limbs out here that we're trying to make strong enough to handle the job on its own. Because if you do that, well, even if you are in a good position and this limb is weak and it's not unified, okay, well, so what? They just push it and it collapses, right? But if it's full of pung and it's unified into all this structure, then it's just like a big wheel that they're pushing on. And it doesn't, they think it's a body, but it's a wheel, a wheel on a balance scale. So, as they come in, as they push, you're able to roll like the wheel and completely change everything they know about your engagement. So what we want to look for, what's handy in this grass sparrow's tail, is finding that bow, keeping this arch, keeping the connection across both sides. It's never just, one hand doing something. That's why when we use the sword, we have the other hand doing this. That's the sword secret, right? So what we want to do is, with all of this, we want to make sure we've got the connection in our feet, like we're pushing to tear paper, right? Maurice, do you know what I mean when I said tear paper? You just raise your hand if you don't. Okay. So we're trying to tear paper, and what that does is that sets up this sort of springiness in the legs, right? The base in the legs. Now our waist, when we settle in and tuck the tailbone in, that engages the upper half into that springiness, right? And we've got this feeling of like expansion up. This part here is what completes our pung. So what I want to do is go through our grass sparrow's tail and maintain this feeling as much as possible of like these bows. You know, like a bow and arrow bow. The bow here, like an arch. The bow in our spine, right, that engages that. And then the bow in our arms, where it's like a big wheel or like a horseshoe. Okay? And so let's try that from the beginning. And we're going to start that from the very first movement, right? When we first start, I don't know if you can tell from the side, but as we come up, all right, we turn, boom, that's our arc. It's set right there. As we come down, elbows hit, then we press with our hands. We press with our fingers. Got it? The arc is still there. See? And so then, as the arc is here, we're just basically expanding it out from our back, one against the other. It's not this hand pressing this way and this hand pressing that way. It's this, both of these pressing out against the outside. All right, so they're working, you know, kind of against each other, not independently. All right, so let's go ahead and try that from the beginning. Breathe out, relax all the way down to our feet. And let's begin. We breathe in, feet, ankles, knees, hips, up the spine. Raise the hands straight up in front of us. And we want to turn them, shoulders, push out, turn down. Feel the relaxation again, all the way down to our feet. Press out to the sides, feeling the hands working against each other, which is with each other in this case. Come back in to hold the ball over the center, left hand on top, sink down to our form height. Make sure your spine is nice and correct, your tailbone's going in the direction of your knees, not forced or tight. It feels really good. It opens up down there. All right, we're going to open up, turn the wheel. You're going to soften the left quad, pick up the right toe so that it points to the 80 degrees. Continue shifting onto the right leg. Pick up the left foot. Step out to your comfortable shoulder width bow stance. Put down the toe, sink into that right leg. Shift forward. Left hand comes up, maintaining that arch, maintaining that bow, maintaining that connection across the back, both hands. Like twin sides of a crab pincher almost, right? So we're going to turn slightly, overturn so the left palm is up. Turn back, left palm down, right palm up. Press into the right. Keep the nice big bow in both hands. We're pulling with the left, pushing with the right. Ward off to the right in the back. Keep continuing with the circle. Turn to pull that hip back. Shift forward. Sink and lift. Push back into the back right foot. Pushing out against each other, with each other. We're sinking down into that back foot, just letting our body weight flow into our hands. Whatever it's attached to is going down. Shift forward into the space between our knees. Hands lift. Press the weight into the right foot. Turn the waist. Turn the left toe, striking out with the right. Again, feeling a separation between both hands, or the connection between both hands. They're working in opposite directions with each other. Turn back. Again, keeping a nice big pung up here in the left, pushing out. A pung in the right, pulling in to meet underneath, holding the ball. Right foot should just come along for the ride. Step out. Shift. Let that right hand track up as we shift down, sink. Let it lift. Ward off right. Overturn. Dogs, if y'all break my knee, I swear. Come back the other way. Shift back. Turn the waist. Again, keeping a nice big pung connection across both the hands in the back. Turn at the waist to bring that left hand even. Shift. Sink between the knees to rise. Shift back. Sink down into the back leg. Shift forward. Sink between the knees and rise. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I felt pretty good at that. All right. So, how do you feel about the G, the press on that? And what I mean is, I'll go with this way since this is what's probably more familiar from the long form. So we do our ward off right? And then we turn that way. And as we're coming back, we've got a nice big full, it's just a ward off this way, right? It's a full ward off. It's not empty. It's not just there for the ride. It's not just there for show. It's not just there because we got to figure out something to do with it. This is a ward off in that direction. And this is a pull in that direction, right? Positive and negative silk reeling. But as we do that and bring all that back, and we get here, we're kind of faced this way, right? Off to the side. And, it's kind of like a spirograph. Like you remember that toy, how like you put your little pen in the one hole and just make circles, and because that circle is part of another circle, whatever the gears are, makes it do all kinds of weird shapes and stuff. So you can kind of see the same thing, but like you've got your hips are like the holes, and like your spine are where you can like do your circles and stuff, right? So, and I'm not sure if it's exactly how Alex does it because I don't pay attention in class enough. But from here, as we come up, if we fold back here, right, we're just sort of like bringing this back. And it all, as we turn, this is one of the fundamental Qigong, as we turn, it's just sort of like lining up, right? Like, what I'm doing with my hand is this, but because this hand is here and I'm turning, they meet. And then it's just, sink, boom, to get that full expression. Now, when we do that expression, notice the shape, right? If imagine if you're looking from top down, as we do this, like I come in and I make contact, and my arms are bent just a little bit, right? And then as I make contact and I press through, they expand out. And so it's like it's like a bouncing ball, right? So like, if you picture my arms are a ball and something comes in and hits it, it's going to deform and it's going to pop back out again. The cool part about this is that our fingers are a lot stronger than we think they are. And so what you can do with that is like a tortilla press kind of mechanic. So between all this, this gives you like an elastic force sort of equation for expressing force. The tortilla press effect of the compound leverage in the hands, and the weight shift and all that, this winds up being a hugely powerful just blast when you got it all together. So, but in that case too, then that's where we'll do a slight. As we come together, we're slightly bent. As we shift forward, we do that last bit of expression, it straightens out. Well, not all the way, but as straight as it gets in Tai Chi. Okay. Y'all good for one more round of that? Yep. All right.
7.
It's 7. Do you need to go, or do you want to do one more round?
I'll stick, just telling.
Okay. All right. One more time. This time with feeling. Go away. Oh, got his feelings hurt. Okay. Now, it's again, we want to feel as much as possible. We want to try and feel those bows. I'm not going to do as much. I'm not going to say as much this time, but just try to feel the bows. Feel them not just in your mind, but in your body, bending and flexing the way the bow and arrow bends and flex. The ball deforming and extending the way a ball bounces throughout the whole body. All right, breathe out. And begin. Turn shoulders. Bring elbows down. Hands. Fingers. Push out. Come in. Pull in. Squat down. Get your pelvis set. Turn. Soften. 80 degrees. Hold the ball. Shoulder width. Line up. Navel, nose, knee. Overturn. Pull and ward off. Turn the waist. Come together. Expand. Split out. Down. Sink forward and rise. Shift the weight. Strike with the right. Toe in with the left slightly. Push the weight into the right. As we gather on the left. Step out. Complete ward off. Navel, nose, knee. Overturn. Turn back. Shift. Waist. Hands together. Bring the right side back so the left comes forward and then release forward. Oof. Shift. Down. Shift forward and sink. To raise. All right. That's some good stuff, y'all. At least it was for me. I don't know. So yeah, practice that. This video is going to be available, so we can follow along with it. If you follow Patreon, because that's just where everything, it'll send you an email anytime I post anything relevant to the class. So just that way you can get it via email. It'll get you directed to the events. It'll get you directed to the Zooms. It'll get you directed to the videos that I post. Just follow the Patreon. It's free. You can do it with your Gmail. It just says sign up with Gmail. Boop, and there you're in. Done in one. Real easy. You don't have to pay anything. And there's also, I don't know if anybody wants to get into Discord or whatnot yet, but that's probably going to be later on now. You guys probably aren't Discord folks, but anyhow, so let's, with the 3 bows, we want to make sure we maintain that feeling of the bows here, the springiness, and the springiness. All right, the wheel. Let's go ahead and close. Y'all ready? Okay. Yep. Oh, there you go. Hell yeah, Maurice. Getting back up for the salute out. And up. Come in.